Got to be consistent and going live on here every day. Just a different setting. I'm at my mom's crib vibing out. So waiting on some people to come in. Give y'all something to go off on what I've been working on. Been working on restructuring my social media, especially attention to YouTube, because I'm finna start making sure I get clips up on here, and just want to actually prepare y'all on what's to come. This coming up season, just be on the lookout for a lot of clips to come up throughout the day. My vision is I'm a real time person. Okay, I don't like editing a lot of clips, so the clips are gonna be coming up pretty fast. Okay, throughout the day's time. Okay, I'm probably gonna average between maybe 8 to 15 short stories, short reels every day, with one long clip that's gonna actually break down my perspective on why I take the approach that I take in servicing a lawn. Like how do I look at the lawn? Um, why do I choose to go in a certain direction with my lawnmower? And things of that nature. And why do we weed eat in a certain direction? Why do I trim certain shrubs in the way that I do? Because it's a lot of different techniques that you, with being in this field, that you have to have an understanding on, or you would do more damage to a person's lawn than you are actually helping. So, and then your client will actually see it. So, and they will actually see your attention to detail, which will help you out tremendously in the field. So, and yeah, I'm just kind of preparing you because my season's actually getting ready to get started in roughly, I think within 7 days. I'm finna go out and start actually treating lawns. Lawns that I aerated and seeded. I want to make sure that they're starting to come back plush. I want to make sure that the summer weeds are not kind of taking over the lawn, because a lot of times, oh, what up, man? Beast grass cutting. A lot of times, individuals that aerate and seed lawns, you have to be real mindful, like when the season comes in, because those clients have spent a lot of money with you, and I know they do with me on aerating and seeding lawns. A lot of my clients spend six, seven, 800, or even over $1,000 for me to take care of their lawns and to making sure that it's green and it's plush for the upcoming season. And what happened is the summer weeds, which are the clovers, the dandelions, the clovers, dandelions. You got net sage. What's another? Uh, Let me see. Dead nettle. That's the purple flower that pops up everywhere. It's about another 3 or 4 different winter weeds. It's really, if you look at lawns right now, you will start seeing them start to come up. Okay, it's really important that you get on top of those weeds early in the season. That way, it doesn't choke out the sunlight, which is a requirement for everything that undergoes photosynthesis. Okay, and that's the process on how anything there's a plant cell base generates the ATP, which helps it grow. Okay, so you don't want to choke out that sunlight, because everybody knows weeds grow times 3, maybe times 4 of grass. So, and they will take up as much sunlight as possible. So that's something that you want to be on the lookout for. And a simple weed and feed can help out that tremendously. If you have your application license, which is your sprayer's license, it's always good to, kind of get on top of that. And also, if you in the habit of using pre-emergence, it's almost time for you to get out there and get those pre-emergence down, okay? And one of the benefits about pre-emergent, if you live anywhere in Middle Tennessee, uh, anywhere in this region, there's a rigorous grass called crabgrass that comes alive late May, early June. Depending on the temperature, the ground temperature, it might come alive a little bit faster. When that crabgrass gets in a lawn, it is tough. I'm talking about tough to get that stuff out there, okay? And I only know like a couple of tricks that along my pathway I share along with you as I'm trying to tackle those weeds and get them out of lawns. There's certain tricks and methods you can use to treat lawns, to where, depending on what your state is, and also if you have your application license, there's other approaches that you can take that kind of actually help you eliminate those weeds. I'm also going to share with y'all a different techniques regarding striping, different techniques that I use when I want to do some zigzags, circles, or any other type of lawn care design. I specialize in that. That's one of the reasons why I was able to achieve 171 clients without any advertisement, is because of my quality of work. And with this year, I transitioned and only doing weekly yards. So, and I only have maybe 15 to 20 clients that I kept on that were bi-weekly clients, and that's because those accounts totaled over close to $2,000 a year. So, and they've been with me for like over 5 or 10 years. So it's like a relationship that I have built with my clients. But the rest of the accounts that was actually below $1,000, if they really couldn't transition to the bi-weekly, I mean to the weekly service that I'm offering this season, man, it's hard to do, but I had to let them go, man, other than grow my business. So, and I wanted to grow responsibly. And that's my main thing. I don't want to grow irresponsibly, because your business can turn into a cancer and it'll wear on you, man, and you won't be having any fun out there making some money. So, and there's never no fun in that. So, and I found myself in that position last year. And even though I always, have a positive approach going at the house, but you can get rather overwhelmed dealing with bi-weekly yards. And I know 171 clients, there's no way I could have serviced all of those yards weekly. There's not enough hours in a day for me to do that. So that's why a lot of my clients were bi-weekly. So, and that's how I was able to maintain 171 yards, and I with one other guy that normally helps me out in the truck. But in saying that, I actually, because I know a guy asked a question regarding if there were bi-weekly or weekly accounts, since there were so many. And the only way that I can see you handling over 110 to 120 accounts, you're going to need some help, okay? And I recommended for that gentleman to make sure that he gets a guy that has experience in the lawn care field. That means I recommend you get a guy that has at least maybe 3, 4, if you can't find a guy with 5 years experience with a trimmer or experience with a lawnmower, it would help your business out tremendously, because it'll be a limited time that you have to train your employee, which is a great thing. And then my number one guy that I have with me, believe it or not, he is going into his 15th year of having experience. So with me and him on the lawn together with the equipment that I have, if the lawn is big, check this out. I give him the backyard, and I handle the larger portion with my zero turn, and I put him on that 52-inch Exmark, and he's a striping king. He knows how to stripe. He knows the technique of weed eating to make sure we're not breaking out any windows. We're not doing any damage to siding, to to the aluminum drain system, the gutters. We're not doing any damage, because we're really skilled at what we do. So, and that's why I always recommend you getting a guy with experience. That way it'll help you out too. But in saying that, if you get a guy with experience, you have to pay for that experience. You have to pay him a good hourly wage, or however you set it up, to make sure that you value the experience that he has achieved over these years. Okay, you can't hide, you can't cheat the experience. It takes time. And that's one of the reasons why I was able to grow in my business as well. And just dealing with bookkeeping and things like that, it just depends on what you have in place. Because I know a lot of lawn care companies, they have a software that they have in place, like Jobber, Yard Books, and it's plenty other applications that you can use out there that can actually help you structure your business correctly. But with me, I did the hard approach. I kind of structured my business on my own in such a way that made it easy for me. And what I found out when I went to one of these CRMs, it made it a little bit harder for me, because with me having 150, I think it was 150 accounts that I had, it was an act of God to get all of those addresses uploaded in the account, the names, emails, address, because the system didn't talk to my iPhone, so it wouldn't load the information over. And then the generic ways that they worded things, it wasn't my language. So I had to go in and critique every option that they had in there regarding my mulch prices, lawn care prices, shrub trimming prices, any additional work prices. It created more work for me, and I already had a system in place. So, like I said, if you have something in place already and it's working for you, maximize it to the best of your ability before you go out and get another system that you have to pay for. Okay, because I'm gonna tell you this: once you rely on that system, like I see a lot of other companies do, you can become rather crippled by that system. Let's say if the system does something that you've been dealing with, but you're tired of dealing with it, you're forced to gonna have to do more work to pull all your clients' information out of that system, okay? Because they're gonna force you to keep up that payment so you can keep track on what you have done. And that's a part of the system I didn't like as well. There's nothing against the CRMs and things like that, but I always keep in the back of my head, if I want to call it quits, is it going to be an act of God for me to pull my information out of that system? And I didn't like that. I didn't like it at all. And that's why I always took the approach to like build things up on my own that's convenient for me. That way I can always change it up on the spot. I don't have to go through customer service or go through an IT tech with that company to modify it for me, because again, then it pulls you into where like you're confined to that system. If that makes any sense to you guys. So, in saying all of that, I just, like I said, I'm gonna go live every day on YouTube. Preferably, it's probably gonna be in the afternoon when I finish up working. That way, we can vibe out as a community. We can go back and forth. If anybody has any questions, or if anybody has anything positive that they was able to achieve in that day, man, feel free to share that stuff, man, for real. Because what I do know is information is powerful, bro. I always like to hear guys winning in their city, man. I always like to hear guys getting extra clients, new clients, doing work that they never done before. I always like to hear about this stuff because in this industry, you can become rather comfortable just servicing lawns. But you always have to remember that you have to always keep in the back of your head that you have to be uncomfortable as well. And being uncomfortable in this field is by doing things you haven't done before. And then you also have, and in saying that, do a little bit of research on what you're trying to do. You have YouTube University. I've used that a lot. There's a lot of guys on here that pull into this network and to give you a good foundation on what you can do. And then you make little tweaks from their foundation and apply it to your business, man. Brother, you gonna win. Because in saying that, I was able to do a French drain, and I never done that before. I was able to do a hardscape job that the rocks that I had to bring in weighed over, shoot, it's probably over 9,000 pounds worth of rocks that I didn't have a skid steer to help me load the rocks in. It was me and my number one. Guess what we used? Good old wheelbarrow. We loaded the rocks up and we took them to the location where we was gonna build a retainer wall that I installed a crepe myrtle, and it's still in place to this day. With the where I built a rock path that was crushed out with gravel all the way up to the doorway. Mulch, and I probably placed maybe 8 or 9 yards of mulch around. I installed some ivy bluegrass. I installed some pampas grass. I installed some coral bells. Just things to kind of stagger the landscape to make it look beautiful. And along the way, also be mindful. You want to do continued education, because a lot of individuals want to know, how am I so knowledgeable about the different types of grasses that's out there, the different type of weeds that's out there. I just take pictures of it, and I go home and do research on what does the picture interpret. I mean, what type of grass this is, and then as I go out and mow lawns, I look for that grass and just identify it as I cut the grass. That way, it works on your customer service. That when you meet a new client, the client would know how knowledgeable you are about their lawn, because you can talk about the things that you see in such a manner that they know that it took time to become that knowledgeable about somebody's lawn. because a lot of clients ask me, did you go to college to do this? Did you have any higher level education to do this? I said, no, it just took actually the School of Hard Knock Life, and that's how I found out. And so, and then with me being so honest, my client just busted out laughing, and it's just the camaraderie that I have with my clients, because just like y'all see me on here, I act the same around my clients, brother. And a simple smile approaching the client will change, will have a different perspective for you on how that client views you. Just a simple smile. Just walking up to the client and just smiling when you introduce yourself. Thank them for giving you the opportunity to actually submit an estimate on their lawn. Thank them for that, because they could have called another company. In doing that, about seven to eight times out of 10, I landed that client. Okay, be a man. Try to be a man of your word and actually show up when you say you're gonna show up. Things happen. Communication rules the nation. I'm gonna repeat that again. Communication rules the nation. So if you're gonna be late, communicate to your client that you're gonna be running late, and they will thank you for that. Because one thing you have to know in the lawn care field and any type of service industry that you're in, a lot of your clients are retired, okay? Let me explain this to you about retired clients, okay? The people who don't go to work anymore. They have a couple of things that they look forward to every day. They look forward to the mail coming, they look forward to the paper getting delivered, and they also look forward to being there and prompt for any service industry that's going to come through and work on their property, like the Havoc guy, any type of plumbing issues. They're always there. So if they're looking for you, you have to communicate to them. That way you don't waste their time, and they're looking to be there to greet you and to have camaraderie with you because they're looking forward to you come. And I know a lot of guys, they hate communicating with the clients. They hate it. They hate it. Check this out. Get used to it, man. Get used to it, building them relationships with your clients, because as you increase your prices, you have a relationship with them. 7 times out of 10, they're going to be okay with going with your new price, because you've opened up that communication barrier that a lot of guys are scared to do. Okay? Because it's those clients that actually help change your life. You have to keep that in the back of your head too. Never get in your head that you're doing them a favor. No, 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 no. They're doing you a favor by giving you an opportunity to change your life. Keep that in the back of your head as well, okay? And that's some of the ways that I look at the where I'm so positive when I go out the house, to where every morning when I get up, I do my best to leave my house on a good note. And that's why I do the top of the mornings every morning. But except when my season starts, the top of the morning is gonna come out in the 6 o'clock hour. So a lot of people can see how my mind turns in the morning. Like, what do I think about when I'm leaving my house to go out and try to service 15 to 30 properties every day? Okay, you have to turn into a different type of monster. You have to have your route density in order to make sure you're not zigzagging across your city to take care of clients, and you're losing. You're losing gas. You're losing with drive time, because if the mower's not running, no equipment is running, you're not making no money. You're not making no money. You're losing. And if you have a guy on payroll and you're in traffic, just know you're losing. That's why it's always good to use different applications such as Waze. Waze is an awesome application that'll take you around traffic. If you know about it, you know about it. Okay? There's all type of applications out there that'll help you consolidate your route so you can maximize your days. You have to look into it, or you'll be doing so much drive time and you not maximizing your days. We're in business to make a profit, okay? We're not in business to waste money. You want to maximize your days, man, for real. How can you do that? And then a lot of guys had to go get a 9 to 5 during the wintertime because they didn't maximize the amount of money that they had coming in. So you just have to keep that in the front, in the back of your head too at the beginning of this season. We're getting ready to start off at the top, man, like in another 2 or 3 weeks, to where everybody's going to be happy to get out there and cut grass. A lot of newcomers. It's going to be a lot of new landscaping companies out there. A lot of new lawn maintenance companies. If you've been out here in the field plus 5 years, you see these guys come and go. There's a lot of lawn care companies that went out of business last year. A lot of guys had to actually pawn off their equipment just to get through wintertime. It's going to be a lot of customers that moved into certain neighborhoods over the winter. They're going to be looking for new lawn care people to take care of them. There's a lot of people that probably moved into neighborhoods that you're already in. Make sure that you're in line to take advantage of that and seal the deal on those new clients. Okay, it's up to you to do it. Because I know, listen to me, that's exactly what I've been doing all winter time, to where I went weekly. That way I can maximize and finally start taking on landscaping jobs that pays almost times 10, 15, or even times 20 of a simple lawn maintenance. And you don't have to move the truck. You can get all your material, your plants, your flowers, your small shrubs, trees that you're putting in, mulch, and you can go to that one property and work all day long and possibly walk away with thousands of dollars. That's the way to do it. You maximize it. You're not losing no gas. Everything. You're winning. That's what I get a chance to do this year. But for me to make that room, I had to kind of scale back and to go weekly. And it hurt me because a lot of my clients have been with me for years, man. I'm talking about 7, 8, 10 years plus. And it hurt me to let that text message go that I'm transitioning weekly. But for me to grow, I had no choice. I had no choice. And that's a decision that a lot of you guys are probably going to have to make sooner or later. Okay? If you listen to Mac, Mac does weekly yards, and Mac also gets paid first before he even goes to the client's yard, which I thought that was an awesome approach to take. Awesome approach. I'm not sure if I'm going to transition to that this season, but I know I'm going to make my way towards it because I've already shell shocked my clients enough by telling them that I'm going weekly only. And in doing it, if I will be happy if I have 50 or 60 clients left over. Because if I'm doing 50 or 60 clients, that means I'm used to doing 120 to make the same amount of money that I can make off doing 60. I call that working smarter, not harder. You see what I'm saying? So instead of me cutting high grass, I'm cutting well maintenance grass to where I don't have to run over it 3 or 4 times to spread the clippings out fine. So when the grass dries, it's not brown clippings all over the top of the lawn like I see a lot of lawn maintenance companies do, which is, it's just not a good look, man, when you have a guy like me that's right beside you mowing, that takes his time and makes sure those clippings are spread out. Check this out, you're going to lose that client messing with me. Because I'm going to apply so much pressure on any lawn care company to make sure my client yard has more TLC than they have the time to give. That's why I was able to generate 171 clients. Because I took the time to make sure their yard looks extremely well before I left. So, and that's just giving y'all some of my insight on what I've been doing today and just vibing out with my family, vibing out with people that actually help me get to my destination. And that's what it's all about. Having great conversations with childhood friends because I see them elevating in life. And I always try to give people their flowers as much as possible because people look over that stuff. I always try to compliment people when I see them elevating in life because nobody else is going to do it. Because everybody's so tied up into what they have going on, it takes a different type of person to put themselves to the side and look at what somebody else has going on and the achievements that they made and actually compliment them on it. And just know if they did it, you can do it too. It's a possibility you can do it too. Ask them the question on how they did it. Ask them that question and they'll tell you. Because a lot of people want a handout. It takes a different type of person to ask somebody how they was able to achieve that. Because you're going to have to humble yourself and let them know that you don't know. It takes a different type of person. But in doing it, it will build you relationships that'll last a lifetime, for real. And that's just some of the things that I went through life and some of the things that I learned. And if I can share that with y'all to help y'all learn, bro, that's what it's all about, man. I'm not here to put up no clips just to show y'all what I have going on, showboat on no type of stuff like that, because this was a hard journey for me to get here. And that's why I'm leaning more toward an educational piece. And that way I can describe what I'm doing on all my yards. Okay, it's going to be original audio on everything. Just get used to hearing my voice, man. It's going to be going across a lot coming up this season. And especially when I transition to more so on a YouTube base instead of just predominantly concentrating on Instagram and Facebook. And in one season, last year I was able to grow both of those platforms to above 10,000 followers in less than a year. Less than a year, I went up 10,000 on each one because I took the approach that I'm telling y'all what I'm gonna do on this platform. And just get ready for the journey, man. It's gonna be some good days. It's gonna be some bad days, but I'm gonna show you guys all of that good stuff to let you know that I'm human, and to see how my mind turned and how I'm able to bounce back, and just know that my clients help change my life. So, and then saying that, man, bro, I'm gonna post this video. I appreciate you guys tapping in, the ones that's here. Thank y'all for viewing, and I tap in with y'all again tomorrow night, man. Y'all stay with me.